Okay, everybody, let's start with our Openprovider SSL strategy webinar for today. I am Iris van Ommeren. I'm the country manager in the Netherlands, and together with Arno Vis, our CEO, with Ivan Beriazev, our CTO, and Marta Domenech, our country manager from Spain, I would like to welcome you all to our second webinar related to what we are working on at Openprovider. This time we will tell you some more about SSL, about the order process and how we are working on this to make the lives of our customers more easy and to help your business grow, because in the end that's what it's all about. And today we will start with a short introduction from Arno, and this is on the background and more commercial side of SSL, so you will understand where we are coming from related to the choices we make on the technical part. And after this intro from Arno, we will move to the technical part. And there, Ivan Beriazev will tell you some more about the current challenges that we have on SSL, about the in-house validation project we are working on. He will also tell some more about the short-term usability improvements we are making, and also the long-term goals we have for SSL.
Yeah, so basically SSL is cheap, but it's also in Netherlands at least a government minimum requirement, I would say, because the law says that you have to protect the data that goes through online communications, and SSL is basically not the only thing you can do, but basically the minimum thing you can do. On the other hand, it's also simply a good business. The market itself is growing, and the margins you can make on SSL are quite big. That at least we see with our most successful customers. They sell a lot and they make a huge margin. So that's definitely something that you can take into consideration if you're currently not selling SSL. Our strategy is that as a wholesaler that we offer all possible certificates of the brands that we support. Maybe for you guys it's better to focus a little bit more on certain certificates which you think are good for your customers. And nowadays, since Google, when you protect your whole site with SSL, Google is ranking you're better in the search results. So also that is another reason to simply help your customers to implement SSL. Technically, you have traditionally needed an IP address for every SSL certificate, but currently with stuff like SNI, you don't need to have a dedicated IP address. So that's also a reason that you could sell SSL more easily without all the hassle that you had in the past. So Ivan will tell something about the technical challenges that we are facing and what we are doing about it, and how we can improve the whole workflow. On the other hand, commercially we are preparing a white paper which describes in steps how you could, in a simple way, start selling SSL or improve your sales of SSL. It is some work, of course. Nothing in life is easy, but with that white paper, we think we can finish it in the next 2 weeks. So if you're interested, we can send it to you. We can help you to start growing your SSL business. And so from that perspective, I would like to give the mic to Ivan, and he will tell more about everything we do with our development team. As you know, that's in Novosibirsk in Russia, and it's already 20 people and growing. So Ivan, please continue.
Basically, I wanted to share my screen to show what are the current challenges we are facing. I was trying to make it as simple as possible, so both technical and non-technical people can understand what more or less I'm talking about. So basically, this funny picture talks about how it works right now. Currently, end user comes to our either sub-reseller or comes to reseller or to us directly and simply dumps a set of data in order to issue certificate. And if you see in the picture, if he starts from a sub-reseller, there is a lot of data has to be passed over from one piece of a chain of this communication chain to another, and back and forth basically, in case if some pieces of the data has not been put in a proper way, if some data is missing, if it's does not correspond to some public resources, or for some reason CA reject this information. All this data goes back and forth, which creates a lot of miscommunication. It creates a lot of support load on Openprovider and on our resellers as well. And if in this chain you are the end user, you will be the one suffering the most. Basically, because you have to rely on all those parties in the middle, and you don't have any control over the whole process. So yeah, and recently, well, not recently, for a while already, we will start to really analyze the current situation and think how we can improve the process. So. Well, maybe one more time I'll just summarize the whole challenges that we are facing right now, so I can move on to the next screen. So basically, the main challenges are the long certificate issue cycle, especially for organizational validation and extended validation certificates, as long as they require involvement of C certificate authority or CA. And it requires involvement of us in validating the data, so usually it takes quite a while to get through. Another challenge is that there is actually no transparency for customer or the end user about the intermediate status of the order that he submitted. A long communication chain, what I've just also told about, which leads to a lot of miscommunications, and a load on our support and well, growth of frustration in general from our customers. So basically, these are the challenges. So I'll move on to the second and basically the last slide. So what we are trying to achieve. Currently, we are in the process of building a new system, which we are calling SSL in-house validation, which is going to take away a lot of the hassle that I've described on the first slide. So basically, what this tool or this service is about. First of all, it's an independent SSL ordering service, and which is going to be integrated with the Openprovider and is going to talk with Openprovider through its own API. It's a standalone service, and all the ordering process will be delegated basically to it. And what's good about it is that it splits the billing between Openprovider. The billing stays there. But the whole process, ordering process, step by step, and all the data validation goes to this SSL in HVA, as we call it, or SLING-HVA in short. So, second, all the data pre-validation is going to be done immediately, right before, or basically right after customer supplies the data, and we can right away give some signs to the customer that this or that data is incorrect. This service will be integrated with a public data services, such as, for example, Whois, or such as, for example, some of the Chamber of Commerce gives away their API for public, so we can also validate the data that is submitted by a customer right away, on the fly basically, and give the feedbacks on the fly to the customer. So if you imagine the end user goes to the sub-reseller and submits his order, what he actually gets in the response is simply a identificator of the order. So if you look at the whole process as we are building it right now, first end user buys its certificate from its sub-reseller or from reseller, and he will get simply an URL and the identificator of the order right away. And with this URL and this order identificator, he will be able to log into this external service to see right away the certificate order status. So in case if some of the data that he submitted was incorrect, he will right away receive the notification, and it will be right away visible in the admin panel of this external service that something already went wrong. So basically he receives feedbacks right away. So by this automatic data pre-validation, we are going to address those issues, such a lot of errors during the certificate ordering process. We will reduce support load on our support department. We will increase a lot the data quality in our system. That will help our customers to proactively pinpoint the issues with SSL orders, and right away through this external web panel of this service, he will be able to edit the data he submitted right away and resubmit the order. So that's basically it. What else it brings? It brings more transparency for end customer for SSL readiness. So basically, he can monitor how the order process is going on. Basically, he will be able to answer. The system basically will answer right away what is the from percentage point of view the order readiness. He will be automatically notified by our system around any mutations within the order. Yeah, so basically that's around transparency. The other thing that this new system will bring us is the possibility to delegate editing of certificate order details to our sub-resellers or even to end users. So basically that task is not anymore will not anymore be the responsibility of Openprovider people or even our resellers. So it can be pushed to the end user. That will help us to reduce the number of participants in the communication chain. That will help us to shorten the issuing cycle and will help us to build more effective communications. Yeah, our resellers will be able to focus mostly on the billing part of the ordering process, and yeah, will not really have to go deeper into the status of each and every certificate. So yeah, that's mainly it. And this tool is going to be the basis for us, a technological basis, I would say, that will help us to become a Comodo accredited partner and to start validate certificates by ourselves without involvement of a certificate authority. So that's actually the prerequisite that Comodo came up with. So we are building this kind of system for fully management of SSL orders, where the commodity, even people can log in and check how well we do it, check the quality of each and every order, check the validation statuses of the orders, and once it's there, we will actually receive these new authorities. Basically, we will take over some responsibilities from CA on data validation and on certificates authorization, and that again will help us to shorter the communication chain, as long as CA will not be there anymore. That will help us to shorter even more the issuing cycle of the order. So that is basically more or less the picture around this new service that we are building. The pilot of the service is will be ready somewhere around July, August this year, then as long as we will collect more and more feedbacks from our customers who will start using this service, we will be able to improve it and build on top of it our basically certificate authority capacities or facilities. Okay, so for the slides, I have nothing else to add. I have some more comments on short-term usability improvements that we are going to do in our current system, in the current SSL process. It's going to happen within next month. So we are going to introduce alternative domain validation methods for DV certificates issuing. Currently, we already provide our customers facilities or API to validate very simple certificates via these alternative methods. Currently, it's not yet available in RCP, so in the short term, what we are going to do, we are going to deliver these mechanisms as well for semantic certificates, and we will also add facilities in our control panel, in our graphic user interface, to let our customers do it. We are going to add SSL search functionality in our overview screen in the SSL management section of RCP, and we are going to localize domain validation emails that currently all are coming in English, but obviously starting from last month, Komodo also gives that opportunity to localize these emails, and we are going to offer it pretty soon. That's it for the short-term goals, and in the long term, that's probably by the end of this year and further, we are probably start to offer the free certificates. You might heard about the Let's Encrypt initiative, which I think they are starting in the middle of this year. The project itself is pretty interesting, so we are monitoring how it goes, and the final decision actually will be made if we are actually offering it or not a little bit later. What else? We are going to offer SSL order renewals. Currently, it's not available in our system, but the idea behind is that it should be easy to create a new SSL order from the existing one by just a couple of clicks. We also are planning to introduce semantic ready issuance feature, which will allow actually to validate the contact data of our customers. And once this contact data is validated once it's once reused, there is no validation efforts required at all. So that will help us again to reduce the issuing cycle of a certificate. And one more thing I wanted to mention is SSL upgrade functionality. So in case if customers would like to switch from a cheap certificate to more advanced one, so that kind of facilities we also plan to deliver in the long term. So basically that's it from my side.
Thank you, Ivan. I think it's good to have a moment to answer some questions.
I think I have a question, because it's an external system, and what we've noticed that customers might get confused when they have to switch between our system and something else. So will there be anything like branding or another way to customize the look and feel?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Obviously now, as long as I hear there is a necessity, then obviously we have to start thinking about that. We actually didn't take into consideration this risk, but initially the plan was that we are introducing it to our those customers which are using the SSL functionality most heavily. So we can actually check the concept with them first and collect the first feedbacks. But yeah, this kind of early feedbacks I think pretty precious. So yeah, I'll make a note so we can really start thinking about it at this early stage. Thank you, actually.
Okay.
We do want to some sort of user management where you as a reseller can decide what you want to delegate to your end user or not. So it's not in the basis a requirement that or mandatory that the end user is involved, but if you want it, it's possible.
It sounds interesting. What we do is mostly automated, but as you say, the organization validation and extended validation is a hard process, and we certainly see the benefit of easier validation there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's specifically intended for organization validation and extended validation. This whole in-house validation project that we're doing, because domain validation, as you say, can be fully automated. And in the end of Ivan's presentation, he mentioned the steps that we are going to take to make that even more easy for domain validated certificates. But for the organization validation and extended validation, we introduced this system. So any feedback on white labeling and everything is more than welcome.
Okay, we're certainly interested.
Perfect, thanks. Anything else from questions?
Well, I see one question from Rene. So it's about the WHMCS plugin for SSL for Openprovider. Well, I think it's, as far as I know, actually maybe Arno can correct me, we had WHMCS plugin for SSL, but it was not really working well. And now we are talking to external company who is actually specifically whose expertise actually lies within WHMCS, and they already did a lot of plugins for other vendors. So they already did a plugin for WHMCS for our domain module, and now it's in testing. So the next step is that they are going to deliver the SSL plugin for us as well. But I think once they start, we will already have at least a pilot in place. So we will try to make sure it's integrated with the new process already, and not the old one. Also, maybe it makes sense to mention here that we actually want to make the migration as seamless as possible. So the end customer should not, well, he will of course see the difference, but it should be, the transition should be very smooth. So at least from the API perspective, nothing is going to change. So the API calls will do what they did even before. But yeah, from GUI perspective, probably a lot of things will change. But as long as we are talking about WHMCS integration, it will rely mostly about API functionality. And from that perspective, I don't think that we really have to worry much.
Yes, and to add to this, we also almost have finished a domain plugin for Atomia. And also there, it's in testing phase. And if that works well, we will talk to Atomia about an SSL plugin if there is demand from our customers for that. And the same goes for Parallels automation. Also there we have plans to build it ourselves or to ask Parallels to build it for us. So also there we already have a plugin for domain names also there, but it's not for SSL yet. So for VFact, which is a Dutch company that does billing, we already have a domain plugin and an SSL plugin, and it's maintained by VFact themselves. It seems to work quite fine. So yeah, every external software, billing software company that there is or our customers are interested in, we will take a look at it and try to integrate with those companies. Any other questions?
If nobody else has one, I have another one. This maybe be minor. In the API, there is the certificate and the root certificate, but there is no intermediate certificate there. It would be very useful if it's available.
Yeah, okay, clear. Actually, that's the change is pretty minor because from what I know, we already right now store intermediate certificates as well in our system. It's simply about showing them through either API or through RCP, so I don't think that task is going to be a really big one. So I think we can address that in a very short term.
Okay, great.
And if there are no questions left, then I would like to thank you, all of you, for attending. And if there might pop up any questions afterwards, please feel free to contact us via support or direct. And then we hope to see you at the next webinar. We will pronounce this in the newsletters, so we'll be looking forward to this. Thank you very much.